That's better. Good evening. Welcome to our Tuesday night team call. Thank you guys for joining us. If you are joining us from our 60-day business reset, so excited to have you here. This is a team call that we do every Tuesday night, and you're always welcome. Every Tuesday night, and I think we've been doing it for sure since 2018. So it's been a hot minute. Amy, do you have a moment where you're like, Amy will be my date keeper? That's awesome. Awesome. So we want to chat a little bit tonight about things that you are experiencing, things that you're seeing. I actually want to give a special shout out to two people who have really taken our 60-day business reset and just absolutely run with it. I do not hear things all the time, but congratulations to Chelsea Squared. Can I get a wave? We've got Chelsea Waddell and Chelsea Harder who have teamed up, and they are doing events and they are doing things and they're just running. And you guys, that is the whole purpose to this. Like, way to go, way to do the hard things. Hey, maybe you're doing this too, and I don't know about it, and that's okay, because I am actually not all knowing. Don't tell my children, but I'm not all knowing. So hats off to you if you're doing these things also. But I wanted just to recognize these ladies because, yeah, especially during the summer when people tend to do that weird summer slowdown thing, right? Where like part of us are like, hey, I don't know how I would even exist outside, like doing all the summer activities. And then the other part is like, my children have taken my brain and it's in a UFO somewhere. Like every time I sit down to do something, they've taken it, like it's gone. Or like my house today, where all our internet and cellular data was out for the whole day. I'm like, and then later tonight, I was like, I could have gone to the Y. They have free Wi-Fi. I could have sat in the Y. I was desperate, y'all. So anyway, so we want to talk about that really quick. So the Chelseas are not experiencing a summer slowdown. So we've kind of got two different sides of it. Rosanna had done a post in our 60-day business reset on Saturday morning about business or hobby. And so that might not be where you fit into, but I want to talk about that just really quick. And then I also want to talk about how, what to do if you feel like you just absolutely can't right now, because there's two different, like, right? Everybody has their own situation. So if you didn't read that post, that's okay. But if you treat your business like a hobby, no matter what time of year it is, it doesn't matter. Christmas, summer, St. Patrick's Day. No, just kidding. St. Patrick's Day is very small. If you treat your business like a hobby at any point in time, what's it going to be? It's going to pay you like a hobby. Has anybody ever done like scrapbooking or card making or stamping or anything like that? Anybody knit like as a hobby? Yeah. Okay. So do those things cost you an exponential amount of money? Anybody else other than me? When I try, I'm like, I am going to make this blanket. It's going to be great. I can't find one like this. I'm going to make it myself. It's going to be awesome. I'll have something to do with my hands. And then, you go to the craft store and it's like, what do you mean it's $160 in yarn? That could have bought a $20 blanket from Walmart. Like but I can make it myself, right? Like a hobby it does not tend to be something that saves you money unless it's like sourdough or what, because I missed the sourdough train, you guys. There's got to be a club for people like us. But hobbies are things that tend to be expensive. And I don't want your Plexus business to be expensive. Does anybody want their Plexus business to be expensive? No, that's ridiculous. That was the one thing my husband actually said to me when I said, I really want to do this as a business. Having done network marketing before, where my husband, bless his heart, built me shelves in multiple different homes that were like 3 or 4 feet deep and like a bazillion feet wide and really, really tall. And I had boxes and stuff, and it was like taking up so much space. He's like, as long as it doesn't cost us any money with Plexus and I don't have to build shelves, I'm totally here for it. Now, oddly enough, he did build me shelves in my closet, but that was more for like my extra stuff that he didn't want spilling out onto the floor, which is oddly enough spilling out onto the floor. But he said, as long as it doesn't cost me money, I'm good if you do it, right? Any other like previous network marketers in the house who have done the thing where you bought the stuff and you had the stock and you had things that you couldn't get rid of or couldn't get rid of? Or yeah, I'm really glad. I mean, I love Tupperware, but I'm really glad I never got into that because I would have been a disaster. There would have been bowls coming out of our yin yangs, like collectively. It's just a thing, right? But that costs money, and we don't want Plexus to cost us money. We don't want Plexus to cost us other things either. And so this is what I want to really get to. When you treat your business as a hobby, it costs you in relationship with your investors. Who are your investors? Can you guys tell me in the chat? Who are your investors? Or are you going to unmute? My cup's on the floor. Somebody tell me, who are your investors?
Your family.
Your family.
Kids, spouse.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Your biggest investor is likely your spouse. But your kids are big investors too. If you guys have grandkids that hang around lots, your grandkids are your investors. Your in-laws, like your kids-in-law, they're your investors, right? If you are stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting your business, and then we don't want to say sacrifice time, but they displace their time with you for other things, right? And they're asked to do that. And then you kind of stop and you think, oh, it's for them, right? I want to spend more time with them. I want to give my kids all the attention that I can during the summertime. Okay. But this is where belief in time freedom has to come in, right? If you truly believe that if you work diligently at your business for a set amount of time, the freedom and flexibility it will afford you and your investors will be worth their investment. That's why people invest, y'all. Did you not know this? Why do we invest? Why would we invest money? Because the return on the investment is good, right? But like you need to have that return on investment come out. And if you keep on hitting the brakes and stopping and starting and stopping and starting, they're going to be exhausted. And especially your spouse, who is probably your biggest investor of all. Now, I'm just going to say this. I heard this fantastic piece of advice, and I can't remember who I heard it from. I think it was Christina Williams, who said, if your spouse invests in you having time here doing this for team calls, and you make sure, do we have littles in the room? If we do, cover earmuffs, y'all. If after the team call, you make sure to invest some very specific time with your largest investor, pause for effect, they will equate Plexus with good things. Wow, she gets off those calls. We get to spend quality time together. You know what I'm saying? Sweeten the pot for the investors. Don't exhaust them. Well, no. You know what I mean? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a freebie right there. Okay. So when you're treating your business as a hobby, that doesn't happen. The return on investment gets delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And then they're exhausted and they're not as willing to not allow you, but be willing to be happy about the investing, right? Again, also why we have a no camera in the tub rule. Amen. Thank you, Amy, for that. Oh, by the way, if y'all are tuning in live to the live stream in the Leader Lounge, 73639689290, because you get different kind of content when you're on the screen. Just trust me. Anyway, so hobbies versus business, right? And here's the other piece, you guys. You are worth it. You are worth treating your investment like a business investment. Your time is precious. Your time is so precious, right? And it takes a long time. If you put the brakes on, it takes a long time to feel like you're actually, you know what's happening, right? Like, I mean, we know Jimmy Lou, we're going to give a shout out to our beautiful Jimmy Lou, who is here with us. And we're so happy. For those of you who guys don't know, she is battling illness right now and has been out of the hospital for a few days. And we're just so thankful that you are here with us. She can tell you what it feels like to feel like she's out of the loop, because simply brain, like cognition, has just not been there. She's had to really focus on being well. And that's what we want her focused on. But she could tell you the other side of that coin, being like, hey, you know what? I didn't really choose this. This was forced on me. I would never choose to slow down like this with my business because I feel like everything else is passing me by. Right? Slow and steady wins the race. And I feel like sometimes what happens for me in my business is I will get to that point where I feel like, or in the past, very past, I will feel like I've hit my lid for being able to put into my business to invest. And then I slow down. You guys ever seen that little graphic of the two guys like that are mining for gold? And the bottom one, he's like turning around and walking away, and he's like this close to striking gold. And the other one is just going and going and going, and he's almost there too. Don't turn around. You never know, right? Taking your foot off the gas. But something that we're learning from our time doing counseling with Dr. Tina is you don't just, you guys, y'all have heard, like, you never pour from an empty cup. I think I might've said this last week. You're not supposed to pour from your cup at all. You're supposed to pour from the overflow. You're supposed to pour from your saucer. Your cup needs to be full to overflowing before you even start to pour into other people. Your cup has to stay full. And so you need to stay keenly aware of what that filling of the cup is. Now you might say, okay, hold on though, but filling of my cup is going to the lake and being with my kids and being with my family and going and doing barbecues. Hallelujah. Please do those things. But bring us along with you. Bring Plexus along with you. They can do this. They can do this, right? The thing that keeps us from doing this with our business and our lives all resides between our ears. All of it. All of it resides between our ears, right? When you are super passionate about something, you find time to do it. You find space to do those things, right? And I would encourage you that doing the right activities, focusing on the right things daily, over and over and over and over again, so that the habit becomes ingrained in the fiber of your very being. Again, that is going to pay off in flexibility beyond your wildest dreams. Beyond your wildest dreams.
Hey, Janelle, can I say something?
You absolutely can say all the things.
So just going back to just talking about, what we put into our business and the time we do. And I just want to speak to that, because the beautiful thing about this business, the beautiful thing about Plexus and the legacy that it leads is I will say this, I worked my tushy off. My investor, my husband, my family, they saw it. They worked with me. I worked my butt off for the first 3.5 years of just my goals. I'm doing this. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And, I have to say, and Leona and I have talked about this so many times, I was working full time, all the things of life. We can all say, family, the sports, the this, the that. And, I have to say, in that time of me working my butt off and keeping so focused in that first, 3.5 years before I became Emerald, I didn't miss a thing, you guys. I didn't miss a thing. I didn't miss a sport. I didn't miss a family event. I didn't miss a thing. Why? Again, Plexus was just part of my life. It's just part of my everyday, if it was at the rink or at the lake or wherever. And when you do that, when you decide that you're not going to start here and stop here, and while I'm taking, yes, again, we're not saying don't go to the beach or, never turn off your phone. But when you keep that, when you hold it both as precious and as this is just part of life, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal for mom to go off. Oh, hey kids, I just got to go send this message, or, oh, I have a meeting. It wasn't a big deal to them because they knew mom was just a half an hour before that watching me at the rink or something, or that, we just finished this, or we just had a great supper together. It wasn't a big deal. And they just learned to be part of it and excited with you, right? Leona, again, can attest to this. We have two boys who have watched us do this business now for 5 years. And those boys, they're 18 years old. And guess what they're doing? They're taking Plexus and they're talking Plexus. That just didn't happen because mom kept everything separate. It's because moms kept everything part of what we do. It's every day. It's nothing out of the norm. They watched us talk to people right there about products and about the company and whatever they're watching, right? Our kids, it's not what we say, right? It's about what we do with our time, right? So, I just encourage you, whatever season you are in life. And then especially I want to add on to that. Now the season I am in with my illness and fighting this cancer, here's the thing, because I invested so much of my time and energy into my business and building my business, now that I'm in this season, which is so difficult in so many ways, that I'm not, like Janelle is saying, I feel like I'm missing out on so much. But the dividends of the energies I put into people, you guys, the relationship building that I've done, and the fact that people still are taking their products, even though I'm not 100% always right there over them like I normally am, because I invested all that time and energy beforehand. It's paying me back even in this season, even though this season is of me focus on wellness and not, maybe fully doing the business full time right now. I invested that time and it's paying me back in this season. And I know that this is it's a chapter right now, and I'm going to come back and I'm just going to go for it again. But, Plexus is such a wonderful thing. This company is so wonderful to us and so good to us in all seasons of life. And it never leaves you. A really good, if you ever get to watch our Diamond in the East, oh my, I just forgot her name.
Yep.
Sorry?
In the East, Krista?
No. Oh my goodness. One of our first, I forgot her name. Dark hair, older.
You're talking about Sheila Medina?
No, Canadian.
Foley.
Sorry,
Oh, Natalie Fuller.
Natalie, again, if you ever get to watch her testimony, she had a season where she had to step away from Plexus, and yet Plexus never stepped away from her, and that is just a beautiful story of, again, this company and how much it just is there for you through all the things. And that comes right from the top. Our presidents said that, they are with us through thick and thin. And we are always welcome back to the table. Even if we have to step away, we are always welcome back. And there's a place for us at the table. And I just the waterworks start when I hear them talk like that. So anyways.
Totally. I totally agree with you. And I want to add one more quick thing onto there. If you have little kids, Sherry and I were talking about this the other day. There are so many times that we hear moms say, well, I don't want my kids to see me on my phone. Well, here's the thing. If you were a rancher or a farmer or whatever, let's just ranching and farming, because that's That's what Sherry and I were talking about. You would always be bringing your kids to work with you. They would be out in the garden. They would be out helping feed cows. They would be out moving cattle. They would be driving tractors before city kids ever think that they should ever be driving anything. City kid. Totally cool. But like, you would bring your kid to work because you are showing them what happens when you work hard, that there is a result, right? We want to instill good work habits into our children and show them that we are working. So I never worry about my kids seeing me on my phone. They know I'm working. They know that when I pick up my phone and I am doing the things that pays for their school. They know that when I pick up my phone and I am doing voice messages, people are quiet in the house because the people that we are helping, right? It's so awesome to hear my kids ask about people like you guys by name. How is so-and-so doing? How many people do they have until they hit gold? Your investors, allow them to invest. Allow them to invest their hearts. You'll be so blessed by how they care for your business too. And this is what we want. We want a legacy business. We want a legacy business that we're going to leave to our children. Okay, so that's my little soapbox. By the way, oh, yes, Amy.
Just wanted to add to your, when you pick up your phone and the kids say, well, you're ignoring me and you're working. Two pieces. I was a child where my mom read a paperback book. It's very obvious she's reading a book. She turns the pages, she looks at them. And I still felt like I had to say, you have to put it down to see. So if you pick this up, you need to show them that you see them. And if you say, I'm working, you better be working. Otherwise, you're training your kids that this can take 6 hours a day and make you nothing if all you do is scroll Facebook.
And you need to be willing.
Just like washing dishes. You can wash dishes for 6 hours in a day and not get anything done.
You also need to be real with your husband too on that. I've had to catch myself so many times. Like he'll say, you know, are you done? He used to say this, are you done yet? I'm like, oh, sorry, I squirreled. I was just watching cat videos. Okay, back to work, right? Like you can't avoid it sometimes. It happens, right? Like I just got sucked down the cat video rabbit hole, literally cats and rabbits. Whew. Okay, back on track. Okay, sorry. So Go for No is our mini book study for 2 weeks, starting this Saturday, and Saturday. The next two, how much do we read? Half of it, half and half. The whole point is not necessarily to adopt all of the principles, but it is to what? It's to get you guys understanding that no is a part of your business and it's okay. And that you're not done until you hear no. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Amy, for sharing that. And Chelsea Harder said she shared the business opportunity with a friend at dinner and she wants to know more about it. That's awesome. Always keeping your business open. Okay, so we are going to do something tonight. So if you guys are new to our calls, what we tend to do is the back half of our calls, we have a little training that we kind of piggyback on somebody else's. And I love to use Brittany Howard, Christina Williams team calls. This one popped up. And so we're only going to get to watch half an hour of it or 20 minutes of it. I'll cut it off and then I'll give you guys the link so you can finish watching it on your own. But they featured Rebecca Folks, who's one of my favorite humans. I love her so very much. If you want to talk about genuine people, she is one. So they had her share her story on their team call this week. And we're going to watch this together and then we'll stop it like with a couple minutes left and see if we can I want to hear if you guys can relate to her. I want to hear if there's anything that she said that sparked something in your mind. So hang on, I'm going to try to share my screen. And again, we don't judge the number of tabs a person has open here. I think that the number of tabs just shows how many buckets of wisdom that you have going on at the same time. So I'm just going to say that just right off the top. Okay. Now everyone's going to be like, they're going to be ready to count the tabs, aren't you? Oh, okay. Can y'all see? Not the tabs, the actual video? Can you see what's happening? Yes.
I think it took me.
Oh,
6
hold on. I
months
need it.
to-
You know what I didn't do? Hang on. Let's try that again.
To
All
say
the
for the
little
record,
videos.
Janelle,
Yes.
that the reason that you can have so many tabs is because you're in wonderful self-service. Some of us really can only have 3 some of the time.
That would keep my ADHD in line, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm gonna have to back this up a bit because it's where I stopped watching. So I'm gonna go back to like here. Right. Oh, 450. There.
How you went diamond, how long did it take you, all that jazz? What do you think made you successful?
Well, I found network marketing more like 2010. Well, actually, when I was in college, I was nannying for a lady, and sometimes she would pay me in Mary Kay, and I found out later she'd signed me up for Mary Kay. So apparently that was my first go at it. So don't do that. Don't do that. But I still was really drawn to the industry for a bunch of reasons. One, I saw women in my town that were married to executives, and they were professionals themselves, the women, and they were sometimes, you know, in the medical field, or they were this or they were that. And they were women that I really respected and admired, and they were doing network marketing, and they were driving the cars. And I would go to the home meetings and the parties, and I would love the products that they were selling. And I loved how they talked to people and how they helped people. And I loved the community. And I were going to a couple like opportunity meetings. And my sister and I got together and we said, we want to do that network marketing thing. We joined For the Business back in 2010. That was a different company. And we did great. It was a home party company. I did not use any social media. I got to probably senior gold level, which was paying my mortgage. So I was calling that a winner chicken dinner for someone that had left college, had 2 little babies at home. And during that time to go out and do parties at night was welcomed because I got out of the house. So I actually really liked doing that. I liked being around people and all those things. However, I got pregnant with my 3rd baby, and I was so sick, and I could not leave my bathroom, much less my house, to go do the home parties. And so I thought, I'm going to put network marketing on the shelf for a little while, but I'm going to do this again. So fast forward about 3 years, and I had moved from Arkansas to a really tiny town in Pennsylvania. And I'd been there about a year, and my youngest was probably 2.5. And I thought, I'm going to do that again. I thought that was fun. I was seeing some people from my hometown, Suzanne Clinton and Elizabeth James and Melissa Darby, and some women drinking this pink drink and getting the cars. And I was like, I can do that. I was like, I'm on social media. I knew that from my past company, it was all very naturally based. And so I knew I wanted to be in something that had natural products that were consumable, and that I could feel good about selling. I had moved to Pennsylvania, and I mean, everybody was making kombucha on their counters and like colloidal silver on their, like, making it. And, you know, given the SCOBY things at church, like I was trying to fit in with the natural people, anybody. And I did not have a lot to offer. So I just listened to a lot of things. And that's where I really started getting interested in natural health. And so when I showed them these probiotics, and this was a tiny little town where people were like, the combined household income was less than $40,000 a year. It was a really rural town. And these people were paying like $100 a month for a probiotic. And that they were so vested in their health. And when they looked at our probiotics and they said, this is really good stuff. I was like, let's sell it. Let's sell it. And so I can remember standing I would have these, you know, opportunity meetings and trainings, and I would be in my living room. I'd be like, my name's Rebecca. I'm a Silver Ambassador, and I'm going to show you how to go diamond. And I, from the very beginning, had so much enthusiasm, so much belief, And so much like, why would you not do this? It honestly was about 2 years into my journey before I even really had a why. I just kept thinking, why would you not do this? And that really is something for me that I I feel really strongly about, that I want there to be a shift in the network marketing industry where people don't tell you things like, oh, I never thought I would do that. I blocked my friends. I never wanted anything to do with that. But instead, they're saying, oh no, I know those women that do network marketing and I want to be a part of that. I've hung out with some of those ladies and they are quality and they are smart and they are driven and I want to be a part of that. And it makes me emotional because that is like, relationships are really important to me. And I see the hearts of women that do this. And they really are trying to do something amazing for their families. And so often we do find a product that we see is working and we have all these amazing stories and testimonies. And so we're so excited to share. And I think there's such a misunderstanding of the network marketing industry. So anyway, it probably took me, I just started calling people whenever I signed up. I was like, I know this drill. You just start calling people. So I didn't even really know all the things yet. I don't even know that I'd gotten my welcome pack, but I just started calling. And I think it took me a month to go silver, but then I hit silver, and I think it took me 6 months to go gold. And, but after I hit gold, I did pick up some speed and some leaders. And every time that I would hit a new rank, I was always really looking for business builders. I was always someone that was actively reaching out to people about the business and very enthusiastic, very full of belief. Matter of fact, my husband and I and a bunch of friends were out at a restaurant on a date night a couple weeks ago, and a couple came to our table, a girl that I'd just gotten her signed up on the reset, and her husband said, we were sitting there at dinner, and he said, I looked up something on your Facebook, and he said, I kind of accidentally hit the message thing. And I looked back, 2013, you had sent me a message to this man. I sent a message and said all the reasons why what I saw in him and how it was a great business opportunity. And I thought he could, all these things. I was messaging people about the business. And something that I do think makes a big difference was it was so much less about Plexus or about like the company or about network marketing or about the products, but I always have really focused on what I see in the people and why they would be great at it. And so once they were interested and they kind of saw that I believed in them, then I would start telling them, here's the products and here's the business opportunity. And so through that, almost all of my jewel leaders that I brought into the company were people that I basically cold messaged. I mean, I say cold messaged. They were in my warm market, but I reached out to them and painted the picture of the opportunity, and usually pursued for months and months. That they were not an immediate like, okay, I'll do that right now. That I kept messaging them. And something that I've learned through trial and error is when you do follow up with people, it's always to bring new information. And so it's not that you're saying, hey, I'm just checking in. Hey, it's me again. Or things like, let me know, and just checking in. But it's always like, hey, I saw this testimony and this is why it reminded me of you. Or, hey, I saw this on, look what Plexus, now we're on number this in the Inc. 500 or the direct selling news. And I'm just so impressed, and they're continuing to do big things. And I wanted you to see this, or look what Dave Ramsey is saying about network marketing or whatever. I always was bringing new information that would find, and then typically it would be something, I would reach out and then they would say, okay, I'd kind of wear them down. One of my jewels tells me that she actually ran from me in Target one time because I was, which I'm not a pressure person, but she was like, she tells that all the time. I'm like, that makes me sound like a stalker, but people that I really knew could do this. I was persistent, not to everybody, because I don't have capacity for that, but to my like tippy top primo people, I would keep going to them. So I think I went Emerald in about 13 months, and then Sapphire a few months after that, and Diamond a couple months after that. In between Emerald and Sapphire, I went through a divorce, and I'd grown up in a really strong family, and grew up, I think on my first date, I said, just so you know, I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom. Like that was my dream. That was all I'd ever wanted to be. And so from, being 20 years old up until 28, that's what I did. And so then I found myself as an Emerald, with 3 little kids, no child support, no alimony. And I could take care of my kiddos. And that definitely gave me a why. And so that's when I was kind of doing it for fun, because I mean, my husband at the time was successful and was, making great money. But I was, again, just like, oh, let's just keep doing this. But that's when I started getting up before my kids were up and staying up late at night and sending lots more messages. Because I had a lot to do, and I'm just so grateful for Plexus, and what it has allowed. And then fast forward a little bit later, and one of the girls on my team had a guy on her team, and she said, I think y'all should go on a blind date. And so Eli was my level 3. So we jokingly say that he married up. And we got married 6 years ago, and a little bit less than a year ago, we had a baby. So when they say that tagline, what if this could change everything? It really can. It really, really can. So that is basically my story with Plexus.
I love it. I love that Eli married up. Okay. So I have questions. First of all, so you said did you say you were in Pennsylvania?
I was.
Okay. So you were in Pennsylvania, but your upline was in Arkansas, right? Okay. So you're over here like hosting events, calling people on the phone. Like how did you overcome the obstacle of not having a local upline or somebody who's there holding your hand or doing events with you or for you, and all of those things? How can you speak to that?
Well, I mean, on one hand, now I have a lot of team local, but we're so much more connected on our phones than we are in-person events. So with technology and Marco Polo and FaceTime and Zooms and all the things, you can definitely, and we had, actually at that time you would call in to a conference call. You wouldn't even see them. You would call.
I should remember.
Listen to the call.
Yeah.
Oh, so we did do that. And my sponsor, she would sometimes, when I would sign up a business builder, if it was someone in Arkansas, my sponsor would like take her to lunch and kind of connect sometimes if there was someone there. But as far as, I mean, in Pennsylvania, where I did, that was the harder part, was building the relationships with the people in Pennsylvania, because it was a really small town, but it wasn't my small town. You know what I mean? And small town people can be like, hey, thanks, so glad you're here. Not really. Okay, bye. And no one, we're part of a church plant up there. You'd say like, do y'all have like women's Bible studies or things? And they would be like, what? Absolutely not. So it was not a lot of community. But I am persistent with relationship building. And so I would I am a connector. So I do ask a lot of questions. I was pursuing people, whether that was in, on Facebook or going to different, meetings, trying to meet people. And really it was, I mean, I was up there for 1.5 years before I did Plexus. Now it was with intentions to connect with people. But it was different than being in your home network. Social media allowed me to still connect with my at home network. But anyway, So yes,
I just love that you took ownership of your biz. Like you weren't waiting for an upline to come do all the things for you or with you. You just took ownership to the point of calling people on the phone. So that's my next question. What did you say? Like, hey, girl,
probably nothing good. Nothing good. Nothing
got
at
an
all.
opportunity for you. By the way, I did that too. I did that the same thing. The first person I called on the phone was my ex-mother-in-law.
Well, that was
Yeah.
great.
I feel like it's extra brave. I feel like I should get points.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah. Did you do that? Did you call? Oh wait, no, you were still married at that point.
I was still
Okay, good husband and wife. Okay, so what did you actually say? I am curious. Like when you'd call people on the phone, were you nervous? And
I
what
think
did
I
you
was
say?
just like, hey, I see this as an opportunity. I think same thing that I would send in a cold message, like, hey, Brittany, okay, I have found this opportunity. I'm looking at this. I know you can do this. I mean, I would talk to him. It was definitely not a flip chart or anything again. And also, people ask me all the time, like, what do you say to people? And it's never anything scripted. It's nothing that I could say, oh, I just say this, like that's copied and pasted. It's always, if I'm going to someone about the business, I'm telling them or something that I see in them that would make them great at this, and something that I think this could help them with, that they've confided in me or told me, like, what if this could help with this?
So what do you see in somebody that makes you think they'd be great at this?
Someone that is a connector, someone that's positive, someone that's an achiever, someone that has an affinity for natural health, someone that is active on social media, someone that is a leader, someone that does not have a victim mentality, someone that has gone through things and they have overcome, someone that's charismatic, that people that are already successful in other things where it looks like this could be a puzzle piece. I tell you who I don't go after. I do not go after people that are sick and that are that are constantly everything's wrong. I am not trying to save people. I'm not trying to use this as a way to say, like, I'm looking for people that are on a forward track and that they can add this in. I also have seen some of the people that have seen a lot of success on my team are typically busy people, and you don't go after them because you think, oh, they're so busy. But I think all of my jewel legs were working full-time jobs with multiple children when they became a lot of times entrepreneurs that were also doing other side gigs, but they knew how to prioritize their schedule and time management, and they saw opportunity. And so a lot of times busy people. So those are some people that I would reach out to.
I love it. That's so good. Okay, so I love also your confidence and belief in network marketing specifically, and how you joined for the business and how you just love the whole industry from the beginning. Has there anything that has happened along the way that has maybe hurt your belief in network marketing? And if so, how do you respond to things like that? You're saying, I want to change this like stigma. So obviously you're aware of a stigma. And it's near and dear to your heart because I saw you that produced tears when you were talking about that. So obviously things have happened. So how do you respond when people say negative things or your belief has been hurt or whatever?
I think something that is just a personal thing for me is when I feel misunderstood, like about different things. And so that's just a personal thing. And so when it's one thing to get left on red, or seen in your messages, but when someone says something negative back to you that that is hard. I'm thinking specifically of a girl that she was several years older than me, and in high school and all that. And our families were really good friends. She may have even babysat me, but we went on family vacations, and we were close. Actually, the house that I'm in was their childhood home. We bought from, literally my parents' best friends. They built the house, and I've known her my whole life. And I reached out to her at one point and I said, would you, and told her all the reasons she'd be amazing at this. She was a designer for a big department store, all their jewelry. She's super creative, just cool in every way. Right. And I can remember where I was standing when I called her. And when I told her how amazing she would be at this, and like she could stay, she had just had a new baby. It's like, you could stay at home with your baby. And I just was telling her all these things. And it was all of a sudden dead quiet. And she said, I would never do that. Like, I would never do that. And I don't want to stay home. And I can't even imagine doing anything like that ever. I don't know how I got to the floor, but at some point I remember looking down and going, somehow I've made it to the floor. And I was just like, okay, thanks, gotta go bye. And that one got me. That one got me. Especially because it was, again, a family friend that, like, we do holidays together and things like that. And I was like, how am I gonna like see her and all the things? And so I'm sure I cried about it for a minute and thought, are people thinking that I'm like, doing something? So a little tidbit about my story is that I am from a really affluent area. And I went to a really expensive private school. Everyone, I grew up, thinking if you went to college, you were going to make six figures, because how in the world would you live if you didn't make six figures? I did find out for years and years exactly how you do that. But I do think there was even more of a stigma over network marketing. But I will tell you that years later, it did take years later, people that still, they may have ordered product from me, but have never been interested in the business. And they tell me all the time, I am so impressed by what you do. And like things like, I have people tell me at least once a month, a random person that I will see and just say, I see what you're doing and I am so proud of you. And so, whereas I'm not saying everyone says that, but I will say there are redemption stories in there too. But people saying mean things to me or posting things that are passive aggressive, and then you write a story in your head that story is about you. That can be a belief killer. That can, not a killer, but
Murder.
a stabber.
We'll end on the stabbing. And I will put the link in there. If you look up Brittany Howard's YouTube page, it is in there. So I am wondering what stood out to you. Was anybody madly taking notes when she started listing who she's looking for and what traits she's looking for? I was writing them down. She was like, I'm looking for something I can see in them. If they're a connector, if they're positive, if they're an achiever, if they're active on social, if they're a leader. She said, if they've been through stuff and they've come out better, so if they've got grit, if they're charismatic. Did anybody catch when she said, I am not trying to save people? Was that a moment for anybody? Because guess what we can do? We can totally be like, you have something the matter with you. I can fix that. And yet Plexus can fix that, but maybe that's not who we're looking for our businesses. I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think what I was most impressed about was her belief in network marketing and her belief that she could just continue to connect with people and that the system worked as long as she worked the system.
Totally.
I really loved what she said about when you're approaching someone about the business, telling them why they would be good at it, and which makes you have to realize and think about that other person for a second, as opposed to just sending a bunch of cold messages saying, hey, do this business with me. You're actually like seeing this person and being like, I'm going to actually get to know this person legitimately before I call out the greatness in them. I'm not just gonna lie to their face and what's it called? What is it called when you like say something nice about someone, but it's for personal gain? It's like
Mhm.
the Bible.
Yep.
I can't. Anyways, we're not just gonna do that just so that they think, oh, I'm amazing, and it's just total fluff that you made up. You know what I mean? And it's empty flattery. Thank you. We don't need to flatter people, but to truly get to know them and pour into them and add value to their life. But also, it reminded me of when I was really early on in this, and there were so many times where Stacy and Leona would say to me, like, they would just call it out in me, and I just can't, like, it almost makes me feel emotional. And I don't know if they were doing that intentionally, but I just felt so encouraged that they believed in me, that I was able to lead. And they said, look at you, you're a leader. And I was like, I am? Okay. And then I just, it pushed me. It really encouraged me, and I owned it. And I was like, okay, since I'm a leader, I'm going to lead, and I decided that I was going to do that. And so, Stacy and Leon, I don't know if you knew that, but there you go. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Janelle said the intentionality. I love that too. Yeah, people on a forward track, people who were busy people were people that she was looking for too. Right. Awesome. Any other takeaways that we had from Rebecca? There's another 20 minutes to the video. I just popped it into the comments here. If you want to go chase it down and listen to the last 20. She actually, I don't know if she still does it. I did it for a season. But if you look her up on her Instagram, she may still be doing it. And she actually offered a content calendar. And I can't remember what I'll have to look to see if I can find her Instagram, because I think that it was a different name, but it was a content calendar where she would actually, you'd pay for it as a subscription for a month. And then it would be a whole month full of posting prompts. And she would have every, like, it's chocolate chip cookie day, or like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. There we go. Back up, folks. I'm just looking here to see if it's on our landing page. Leona said, Chelsea, I called it like I saw it. You were inspiring from the get-go. I love it. Yes, absolutely. Janelle said, I liked her comment on follow-up, always bringing new info, not, hey, just checking in. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Here's something that I think could serve you. Totally. You know, what's a really easy follow-up thing to do with people if they're already on the product is information on the product of the month, the new product of the month, where if they add it to their subscription, they get extra perks points. So, hey, I wasn't sure if this would serve you this month or not, but it is the product of the month. You get 50 perks points, and that serves you by getting you free product faster. This is the information on it. Whatever. Cat videos are also a great follow-up tool. Back to the cat videos, just saying. Because it doesn't always have to be business, right? Another fantastic thing, guys, would be invitations to book club. I don't think I talked about this. After Go for No, we're doing Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud. Very excited about this. There's a workbook that goes with this also if you want to purchase that to kind of further along with things. Again, Saturday mornings. Again, we've been doing that for like a hot minute. So that's going to start the first Saturday in September. So just so you know, you can actually go into the back office and you can get the recording of the book club that Plexus ran with Dr. Henry Cloud on Boundaries. And as always, a good, better, best situation. Good is you don't read the book, but you come on to Saturday morning calls, you will get something. Better is you've read the material and you're there. Best is you've read the material, you've done any homework assigned, and you've taken notes or you've highlighted stuff and you've come prepared to discuss. Good, better, best situation. We will take any or all or some or whatever, but we just want you there because community is a huge part of Plexus. And we love learning alongside you guys. All right, guys, I think that is all we have for tonight. Jimmy said, don't quit if you see something in someone just because they say not now, find more ways to deepen the relationship. Absolutely, because you never know when what you have could serve them well. Yeah, anyway. And the other piece that I just want to leave with you guys that I love, that I think all of you guys can and do accomplish, is when she was talking about how she has people that tell her all the time, not many people, but one a month, which I think is really good, that they're really impressed with what she's doing, right? They may not be somebody who's doing the business or not be somebody who's pursuing Plexus, but there are people who notice what you're doing and it adds value to them because you are a positive person. You're a light on social. You choose to share well. And you never know. You never know how that'll impact other people. So thanks so much for being with us tonight. Tomorrow is our Q&A over in the reset group. So you can come on this Zoom number. We will be here. Very excited to answer all of your questions. Have a great night, guys. Bye.